I am with you. I am with you. What does it mean exactly? When we pray or struggle with a problem within ourselves, are we really heard? Always? In spite of our clumsiness and imperfections, in spite even of our bad will and our error. And who hears? You who are with us. And is it you in your supreme consciousness, an impersonal divine force, the force of yoga, or you, mother in a body, with your physical consciousness? A personal presence that really knows each thought and each act and not some anonymous force. Can you tell us how? In what way you are present with us? Sri Aurobindo and you, it is said, form one and the same consciousness. But is there a personal presence of Sri Aurobindo and your personal presence? Two things distinct, each playing its own particular role. I am with you because I am you or you are me. I am with you that signifies a world of things because I am with you on all levels, on all planes, from the supreme consciousness down to my most physical consciousness. Here in Puducherry, you cannot breathe without breathing my consciousness. It saturates the atmosphere almost materially in the subtle physical and extends to the lake 10 kilometers from here. Farther, my consciousness can be felt in the material vital, then on the mental plane and the other higher planes everywhere. When I came here for the first time, I felt the atmosphere of Sri Aurobindo, felt it materially at a distance of 10 miles, 10 nautical miles, not kilometers. It was very sudden, very concrete, an atmosphere, pure, luminous light, light that lifts you up. It is now long since Sri Aurobindo has put up everywhere in the ashram this reminder that you all know. Always behave as if the mother was looking at you, because she is indeed always present. This is not a mere phrase, not simply words, it is a fact. I am with you in a very concrete manner, and they who have a subtle vision can see me. In a general way, my force is there constantly at work, constantly shifting the psychological elements of your being to put them in new relations and defining to yourself the different facets of your nature so that you may see what should be changed, developed, and rejected. But that apart, there is a special personal tie between you and me, between all who have turned to the teaching of Sri Aurobindo and myself. And it is well understood, distance does not count here. You may be in France, you may be at the other end of the world, or in Pondicherry. This tie is always true and living. And each time there comes a call, each time there is a need for me to know, so that I may send out a force, an inspiration, a protection, or any other thing. A sort of message comes to me all of a sudden, and I do the needful. These communications reach me evidently at any moment, and you must have seen me more than once stop suddenly in the middle of a sentence or work. It is because something comes to me, a communication, and I concentrate. With those whom I have accepted as disciples, to whom I have said yes, there is more than a tie, there is an emanation of me. This emanation warns me whenever it is necessary and tells me what is happening. Indeed, I receive intimations constantly, but not all are recorded in my active memory. I would be flooded. The physical consciousness acts like a filter. Things are recorded on a subtle plane, they are there in a latent state. Something like a piece of music that is recorded without being played. And when I need to know with my physical consciousness, I make contact with the subtle physical plane and the disc begins to turn. Then I see how things are, their development in time, the actual result. And if for some reason you write to me asking for my help and I answer, I am with you, it means that the communication with you becomes active. You come into my active consciousness for a time, for the time necessary. And this tie between you and me is never cut. There are people who have long ago left the ashram in a state of revolt, and yet I keep myself informed of them. I attend to them. You're never abandoned. In truth, I hold myself responsible for everyone, even for those whom I have met only for 1 second in my life. Now remember one thing, Sri Aurobindo and myself are one and the same consciousness, one and the same person. Only when this force or this presence, which is the same, passes through your individual consciousness, it puts on a form and appearance which differs according to your temperament, your aspiration, your needs, the particular turn of your being. Your individual consciousness is like a filter, a pointer. If I may say so, it makes a choice and fixes one possibility out of the infinity of divine possibilities. In reality, the divine gives to each individual exactly what he expects of him. If you believe that the divine is far away and cruel, he will be far away and cruel, because it will be necessary for your ultimate good that you feel the wrath of God. He will be Kali for the worshippers of Kali, and beatitude for the Bhakta. And he will be the all-knowledge of the seeker of knowledge, the transcendent impersonal of the illusionist. He will be atheist with the atheist and the love of the lover. He will be brotherly and close, a friend always faithful, always ready to succor, for those who feel him as the inner guide of each movement, at every movement. And if you believe that he can wipe away everything, he will wipe away all your faults, all your errors, tirelessly, and at every moment you can feel his infinite grace. The divine is indeed what you expect of him in your deepest aspiration. And when you enter into this consciousness, where you see all things in a single look, the infinite multitude of relations between the divine and men, you see how wonderful all that is in all details. You can look at the history of mankind and see how much the divine has evolved according to what men have understood, desired, hoped, dreamed, and how he was materialist with the materialist, and how he grows every day and becomes nearer, more luminous according as human consciousness widens itself. Each one is free to choose. The perfection of this endless variety of relations of man with God throughout the history of the world is an ineffable marvel. And all that together is only 1 second of the total manifestation of the divine. The divine is with you according to your aspiration. Naturally, that does not mean that he bends to the caprices of your outer nature. I speak here of the truth of your being, and yet sometimes he does fashion himself according to your outer aspirations. And if, like the devotees, you live alternately in separation and union, ecstasy and despair, the divine also will separate from you and unite with you according as you believe. The attitude is thus very important, even the outer attitude. People do not know how important is faith, how faith is miracle, creator of miracles. If you expect at every moment to be lifted up and pulled towards the divine, he will come to lift you, and he will be there, quite close, closer, even closer.